Hello, Revere, and welcome to our Revere Veterans and Community Show. Today we have the Commissioner of Revere Veterans Services, Nick Brewer. Welcome to the Revere Veterans Community Show.
Thank you, Morris.
Okay, we have a lot of things to talk about today. We're going to start with the first one. And the first one, since you are an Air Force Vietnam veteran, let's talk about the Vietnam War that came to Revere because you had a lot to do with it.
Well, I was asked to be the chairperson of the Vietnam Wall, the moving wall, and it was very moving, and it was a tremendous amount of work, but also a tremendous amount of satisfaction in order to put this program on. We had the assistance of numerous organizations in Revere. The VFW in Beachmont was a tremendous contributor. We had Greg Marciello, who was the treasurer of the wall, and June Deneen and Judy Clark from the Women's Auxiliary. They did a immeasurable amount of work. We can't say enough about them. But the wall was originally thought of by Jan Scruggs. He was the founder of the movement to have this wall, and he was inspired by the wall in Washington, and he thought it would be a great idea. And it's a third replica of the actual wall in Washington.
There's more than one rep?
Yes. So, okay. So it was very good. They raised about approximately $18,000 for the wall. So they're going to have a museum in Washington. The monies will be used to have a museum in Washington. So
that's good.
We're very happy with it, and a lot of the folks from other communities participated. The Winthrop American Legion, and there were a tremendous amount of guys, and the Vietnam Veterans of America, the Lynn chapter. They were a tremendous amount of help.
Right, Nick. About a year ago, you introduced me to Mr. Dana Potter down at the Logan Airport about the honor flight. We got talking. We didn't know about any honor flights at the Senior Center or in Revere. At least I didn't. Well, because of the honor flight that you introduced me to, we had the honor of going down to Washington because that's what they do. And we saw the Vietnam Wall, the original Vietnam Wall, Nick. But a lot of people who don't know that, and this is strictly for World War II veterans now. It's for every veteran, but they're doing World War II first, Korea, and Vietnam. And you could talk about that. This is an application, and if people want to go, tell them how to get there.
Yeah, I met Captain Dana Potter. He's a captain on the Massports Fire Department, and he's very active in this honor flight for World War II veterans. I don't know if anyone has been to the World War II Memorial down in Washington, but it's a beautiful site. And they have computers there. If you want to look up a loved one's name and a little history of them, you could look it up. They dropped off all these applications here, so if anybody is interested in participating in the honor flights, they do it once or twice a year.
And it's free.
And it's at no charge. Strictly for the veteran, though. No spouses or children or anyone, but they have folks there that will take care of the people who need assistance. If anybody is interested in participating, I have the applications in my office, so please feel free to come down and get an application, and we'll submit it.
Right, tell them the address and the telephone number they can reach you at.
The address, my address is 249 Broadway in the rear of the building. It's the American Legion building. Telephone number there is 781-286-8119.
Right, Nick, and because of you, I got to say this, because of you, I had the honor, 5 of us from the Senior Center, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, for going down, and we saw the Vietnam Wall, we saw World War II Memorial, the Iwo Jima Memorial, the Air Force Memorial, and the Korea Memorial, so we thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Okay, and we salute you for your service too, Nick. The next thing I'd like to talk to you about, which a lot of veterans that were in the military don't know about this, and this is a thing that you have that was originated, I believe, by you and Donna Dreesen, called the Food Bank. Let us know about that.
We have had been distributing food for the last year, and it was originally done through the Department of Veterans Services in Boston. We were picking the food products up at Bunker Hill Community College, and a lot of the seniors, they couldn't make it to the college, and those who could make it couldn't carry the groceries back because there's approximately 25 pounds of food products. Right. So what I did was Donna and I, we went up to the Greater Boston Food Bank, and we spoke to them, and we made arrangements to have the food brought here to Revere and by the Boston Food Bank, and we have the assistance of the Sheriff's Department and the custodians here at City Hall. Can't say enough. Bobby Rotundo there is doing a tremendous job, and no matter what we ask him to do to help us out, he helps us out in any way he can. So, but it's done once a month. It's for veterans and the spouses of veterans. Unfortunately, that's all we can take care of. We only have a limited amount. We can't take care of everyone in the community. So, it's for the veterans. So, I appreciate if we can keep it like that. And we're assisting Winthrop also in Chelsea, the folks from Chelsea. So we sort of expanded a little bit right now. So last month we had it scheduled, and due to inclement weather, we couldn't get the food actually down to the American Legion building. So,
Nick, I would like to mention someone who is not a veteran, but boy, is he a community veteran, and he does work for the veterans. His name is Rick Labadini. I hope I pronounced that right.
Right.
Tell us a little about that gentleman.
Rick, he is no matter what we ask him, he's not a veteran, but he goes out of his way. He's one of the volunteers for the moving wall that was here in last June, and he no matter what you ask him to do, and he comes down and he helps us distribute the food. He gets off of work at 12 o'clock, and he comes right down to the food bank and helps us to distribute the food.
Right.
He's a great guy, and we're very, very happy and proud to have him with us.
Right, Rick. So thank you for all the things you do.
Thank you very much, Rick. Yes.
Okay, the next one. Oh, you did a lot of work on this one, so you and a whole group of people on the Columbus Day Parade we had here in Revere, the one that just passed, and the next one we're going to have, so you can expand on that.
We're going to have the parade in Revere every other year. We didn't want to be in competition with the East Boston Parade as far as the bands are concerned. So we decided to have it on the odd year from East Boston. So this year is the East Boston 2014 is East Boston, and we'll have ours next year. But we will have a fundraiser in October for for the parade, just to have some funds. These bands cost us a tremendous amount of money, some $5,000 or $6,000. The Shriners are very, very expensive, and we've been We had the East Boston Savings Bank sponsor them. So that was a tremendous help. TD North Bank also was a huge contributor and participant in the program. We spent many hours, and I think we'll be able to do a great job come this October.
Well, if you do a good job as you did the last year, it'll be a smash.
Yeah, well, we had tremendous support from the mayor. Naturally, you couldn't have done it without him. Mayor Rizzo is always there whenever we ask him for assistance in any way, and the DPW was. I mean, it was a community parade.
Right, and not only that, Nick, you did a good thing for the veterans, really. The ones that couldn't walk or could hardly walk, you made sure they had a ride if they went to the ride with someone in the parade.
Right.
Will they do that in East Boston this year?
They'll do that in East Boston. We had a meeting last night for the East Boston parade,
Yep.
and Buddy Mangini, who is the parade coordinator, I told him I'd be happy to assist him, and we've been having meetings. So things are moving on, and we're getting a lot of experience on the parades. Although I've been working on them since 1975, so it's it's quite an ordeal, and we need the money in order to have the fundraisers. So that's why we have the fundraisers.
Right, so let me thank you for what you do on that one.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. I'll be thanking you. No, I mean, we got a load of good things here, and we want to let the veterans know what we do for the veterans. And by the way, Rick, you may not be a veteran, but you're one of the best community veterans we got around, so thank you again. And by the way, before we go off, I would like to mention another great veteran for the community, Al Terminello Jr., who was in an accident, and I hope you're getting well, Al.
Yes, get well soon. Yeah, that's right.
And he does a lot for the veterans. Him and Ira Novoselsky, who happens to be a veteran.
Yes.
So thank you both.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're going to go to the Wounded War veterans. We had Andrew Biggio on the show. Tell us a little about the Wounded War veterans.
Well, they have approximately 5,000 motorcycles who are going to participate. Each rider cost is each motorcycle is $20 to ride in it, and the funds will be distributed. 100% of the funds will be distributed to 3 veterans, seriously wounded veterans that need not only assistance for financial assistance for themselves, but also for their homes to be adapted so that they can get in and out of their homes without any difficulty. Last year, Andrew did the run, and he raised $100,000, and the money was distributed to the 3 veterans. So he does a tremendous job. So what we're going to do is it's going to be the motorcycles will be coming from Saugus down the American Legion Highway, and we're trying to get as many people to be out there to wave flags and support the riders and show that the community appreciates everything that they're doing for our wounded veterans. So if anybody is in need of flags, I have the 4x6 flags that we can wave, and hopefully we can get a lot of kids involved, and it's all about the kids.
Right.
So Andrew's done a lot of work on this here, and to get 500 people coordinated from with the support of Suffolk Downs. Suffolk Downs has been a huge contributor, and they help us out tremendously.
Right, and by the way, I got to thank you, Revere Veteran Service. I got to make sure that you get on it. Stop and Shop gets on it. The Revere Fire and Police Department get on it, because they donated flags to us, just like you did. And when we have a veteran on it here, we give them a flag and we tell them it came from these different organizations. Sometimes yours, sometimes the fire department, but we mention that, and they love it. So again, another thank you. You'll have blisters when we're through.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, there's one thing I wanted to talk to you about, but I think I overlooked it. Talking about flags. I was down at the Legion, and I happened to see this beautiful box that where people have flags that they want to donate that are ripped, torn, and shredded. Instead of throwing them away in the garbage, and I see you brought one here so you can show the people what it looks like. Tell us how that project all got started.
Well, what happened was a lot of people, they have flags that are in deplorable condition, and they shouldn't be flying, and this is an example of some of them. So it's
Yeah,
just,
let me help you hold it up.
it's just part of the, so we want to take these out of service and make sure that they're not thrown in the trash. With the help, tremendous help of Lois Nielsen, she talked to the Vogue School in Wakefield, and they made the boxes. They're about 4.5, 5 feet tall, and we took them to. We made arrangements with the Revere School Department, and they painted them. So anybody who has a flag who is in bad shape and shouldn't be flown, and you could tell is when it becomes faded and torn, and we just wish to have it deposited in the box. We have right now 3 boxes. We haven't had the final decision as to where they're going to be located, but you can always bring them in my office, or we're going to have a box on the corner of Hyde Street and Broadway. We'll probably have one down at the Point of Pines Yacht Club. And the third one, we're thinking about the Doughboy store, the police store on the American Legion Parkway. Across from St. Anthony's Church, or diagonally across from St. Anthony's Church. But we have to make sure. Last year I had the Boy Scouts with the tremendous assistance of Jeremy Orn. He's going up for his Eagle Scout this year. He's going to be receiving his award this year. And we had the assistance to retire the flags that we had at that time last year. And we had the Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts, the Brownies, and the Cub Scouts. They all participated, and they folded the flag, the proper way of folding the flag. And it was, Jeremy did a very good job on the program. He wrote the program himself, and all I had to do was introduce him and get the fire department through Chief Doherty. Chief Doherty is always there to help us out in any way we need it. He's a tremendous asset to the community, as Chief Caffarelli is also. So whatever we ask for them, but please deposit your used and old torn flags in either the boxes, or you can drop them off in my office, the rear of 249 Broadway, and we'll be happy to take them.
Right. Now, Nick, this is a little sad story, and this is in Revere as well as in Boston. We have homeless veterans, and there's no reason why any veteran should be homeless in there. I've seen them sleep on the street. I've seen them sleep in East Boston. They have the grates to keep warm in the wintertime. So I want you to tell every veteran that's out there who is homeless what they can do so they should never be homeless again.
Well, they could either call my office.
Give them that phone number again.
At 781-286-8119, and we can make arrangements to either get them into 17 Court Street, or up at the Soldiers Home. They have a couple of cots that they can.
Which one is that, in Chelsea?
Yeah, the Chelsea Soldiers Home.
I didn't know that.
They have a couple of cots that for emergency uses, just for one night until we can get them into a program. They also the VA has a program which it's called VASH, V-A-S-H. It's similar to Section 8 for the non-veterans. And it works in the same process. They'll put them up and or give them a VASH voucher so that they'll pay the rent for the veteran.
For how long, Nick?
Until the veteran can get on their feet and get a job, and it gives them an opportunity to look for employment and not be concerned about their rent.
So, if he can get on his feet, but if a veteran is actually disabled, like let's say an amputee or something like that, that can't work?
Well, if they're disabled, then, there's generally they're receiving benefits from the VA. So they're receiving compensation from the VA if it's service-connected. If there's non-service connected, then depending on your income, there's a VA pension that we could file for.
Oh, okay.
So we could take care of the veterans and make sure that they're not homeless.
Okay, now I'd like to talk about the real sad part for veterans, which is the burials when they come home, about their headstones, their markers, but you could elaborate on that.
The headstones, if a family of a veteran is in need of a headstone, the government will provide a headstone or a foot marker stating the veteran's name and the branch of the service, and when they were born and when they died. Most people have seen them at the cemeteries.
Right.
The foot, and it's a good idea to have one, because what we try to do is, if we don't have your name on file as a veteran on Memorial Day, in order to put the flags, we don't know that the person is a veteran unless there's a foot marker or is marked on the headstone. So it's a good idea for every veteran to have one. Also, on the same line of thinking, if a veteran passes away, we can get a certificate from the president thanking the family for the veteran's service. So all you have to do is come to my office, 249 Broadway, and I'll complete the paperwork for you.
Okay, we got a few minutes left, Nick, but we talked about everything except one thing. You are a Vietnam veteran. You was in the Air Force. Tell us a little about your service. Don't be bashful now. You're on TV.
No. Well, I joined the service in 1962, and I was stationed in New York for 2.5 years, and then I went overseas, and I actually went to France, and I was in France for 1.5 years, and then 19 months, and de Gaulle threw us out of France.
De Gaulle did?
De Gaulle did. He threw out the American.
Good old Charlie.
Charlie was a wonderful person.
Well, he was president later.
Yeah. So so I was discharged in February of 1967. So a few years ago.
Right. Now, there's one other thing before we close. We got about 3.5 minutes left, so take a couple of minutes and talk about the items for the troops, what the people can donate for you to send to the troops that you do every single day of the year, not only Christmas, but every day.
Yeah, we have a list that we have in our hallway. People can come by and pick up a list of items for our troops. Some of the items for the hospitals are like twin sheets and blankets, sweatsuits.
Do they have to be new, Nick?
Yeah, they have to be new.
Okay.
Because of any problem with bugs or anything like that, we don't want to ship them over there. So, but they need suntan lotion, foot powder, dried fruit and nuts, powder lemonade mixes, flip-flops, razors and toiletry items, both for men and women. There's quite a long list, and you know, we got to take care of our troops. Unfortunately, the government doesn't provide many of these items, and through Operation Troop Support in Danvers,
Colonel Richard Moody.
Colonel Moody, he and his family have been doing a tremendous amount of work since I think 2002, shipping items to the troops, and I've received a number of letters thanking, they thank me, but it's the community for your contributions. With the Revere Women's Club, they've supported us, the Senior Center, tremendous amount of support. The Senior Center, Lois Diamond, their club has knitted blankets for the amputees, and it's been a tremendous. I just delivered a bunch of them to the Soldiers' Home, and they were so happy and appreciative of receiving the blankets. And sometimes it's Soldiers' Home is kind of cold and drafty at times. The windows aren't the greatest, and they sometimes put them over their shoulders, you know. And they were very, very happy, and the people of the community have really reached down and helped us out.
Right, Nick, and I want to say thank you for all that you do for
Olivia Ferranti. We can't say enough about Olivia.
Okay.
Olivia is, she comes in once a month with a little bag of
I know,
items.
I see them there.
Yeah, and she knitted a whole bunch of hats, and the knitted hats are used in the helmets when in the wintertime, and it gets pretty cold out there.
So, Olivia, let me say God bless you. God
Yes.
bless you, Olivia. God bless all the people that donate to the troops, but especially God bless you, Nick, for your service,
Thank
for
you.
coming on here. God bless our troops, the United States of America. And if you want to donate, 781-286-8119. You can drop your stuff off at the Revere Veterans Service, or if you have any questions, you can email us at rvc@reveretv.org, and we'll be able to help you. And thank you for listening.
Thank you.